What's going on, guys? So in this video we're going to be discussing a clone of one of my personal favorite fragrances in Mancera's Cedrat Boise. Now you can find this from discounters in anywhere from $65 to $80 discounted. It's actually one of the best affordable toe dipping niche fragrances out there. When I say toe dipping, I mean it's a great beginner's niche because it's so versatile. Now what if I told you that for much less than half of that, in the $30, I actually picked this up for $30, you could get a pretty accurate clone from Paris Corner in their Emir line called Cedrat Essence. Well, that happens to be a matter of fact, so we're going to discuss it. Stay tuned. Before we get going with the review, I wanted to thank PerfumeOnline.ca for making this review possible. For those of you not familiar with PerfumeOnline.ca, they were Canada's #1 perfume choice for discounted fragrances. Cheap, Middle Eastern, niche, designer, you name it, they probably have it at extremely competitive prices, some of the lowest on the internet in most cases. So that's actually where this fragrance came from. It was right at $30 when it was picked up. So definitely check them out in the link below if you're interested in checking out this particular fragrance featured in this video with Emir Cedrat Essence. Let's get into this review. So we'll take a quick look at the box that it comes in. Emir Cedrat Essence, eau de parfum, information on there. A nice Emir raised stamp pressed into the box, QR code. Same thing on that side, some more information with a hologram. More information on the bottom. You know, nothing spectacular. It's all right. Now, in regards to this bottle, it is hefty. It is thick. You see the thickness of that base. This is a very heavy fragrance. This is a metal plaque. Name of the fragrance. On the top, you have Emir. You have some information on the sticker on the bottom. Cap does hold pretty well into place. It actually clicks in place. This is a combination of metal and plastic. It's a nice cap. And the atomizer spray is nice and wide. But let's discuss this scent. So I have the notes on screen for you guys. As you'll notice, it's not completely one-to-one. I think it kind of is pretty much the same note breakdown, but the balance has shifted a little bit. I do have Cedrat Boise here on this hand. Beautiful. And then I'm actually wearing Cedrat Essence again. I decided to wear it as my scent of the evening since I got inspired to do this review in the first place. And then I have a fresh spray right here on my hand. So the most noticeable difference in the top for me is it's a bit more fruity in the original, whereas Cedrat Essence is more sharp citrus, a lot more bergamot lemon than any other fruitiness. Like you get more black currant with the original, whereas I get a lot less of it in the top of Cedrat Essence. As it starts to settle, it's going to be dominated, at least on my skin to my nose, by this light, fresh, spicy tone as it starts to settle into this clean musk vanilla combo. And it's not heavy vanilla. It's enough to provide a nice light creamy undertone of sweetness behind the musk, a little bit of spice, and some woods. I don't get much leather here, but it does maintain this clean feel. It's a cleaner fragrance to me overall because I don't get as much cedar. I don't really get any of the leather. I don't get a lot of black currant. A lot of the darker, slightly heavier, nuanced notes that you'll find in Cedrat Boise, which by no means is this a darker, heavy fragrance. I'm just saying as far as the makeup of the fragrance, those particular notes hold a little bit more weight as far as the molecules and the way they come across in scent. This is a little bit more zesty, fresh, bright and airy, a little bit more clean and musky overall. I think the most simple way to describe this is it's a sharper, fresher, more Sprite 7-Up type of lemon lime kind of smell, bergamot lemon at the top, and it settles into this very clean, crisp, lightly spicy musk smell. It's really that simple at its core. There's a little bit more subtle nuance to it overall, but I think that's the most accurate and easy descriptor for the way this fragrance smells. If any of that sounds good to you, you can scoop this for $30 from PerfumeOnline.ca. I'm not sure if you can find it any cheaper anywhere else. I'm sure there might be somewhere out there, but that's pretty damn cheap for this fragrance. In the scent profile, though, I will say it is pretty close. I would say it's like 85 to 90% accurate in scent profile, more in that 90% range. It does smell a little bit cheaper, admittedly. It is a cheaper, you can tell it's cheaper oils than what Mancera uses, but comparatively from a cheap Middle Eastern clone to a niche fragrance, you would expect that. So in regards to performance, it's pretty much about what and what. I do get a little bit more staying power out of Cedrat Boise because I typically get in the 8-hour range out of this, whereas this falls into the 6 to 8 hour range. It kind of varies. 6 to 7 hours is pretty much a safe bet on what I've been experiencing from Cedrat Essence. The projection is on the heavier side in the beginning. In the first hour, yeah, it's pretty bright, it's loud, it's full of citrus, it's captive. It's going to grab people. It's going to reach out. It's got the power. After about an hour and a half, it does start to sit a bit closer to the skin and settle into a moderate to mild sillage. It's not the weakest of sillages, but it's not the strongest of sillages either. The whiffs I do get are on the fainter, lighter side. So it's not a monster performer overall, but it is slightly above average pretty much across the board. So for $30 for the scent profile, obviously the presentation doesn't carry a lot of weight, but the scent profile, the presentation, and the decent performance, it's actually pretty hard to beat. I'm actually quite impressed. So the first time I saw this was on Amazon for around $55. And at $55, it's like, just save a few dollars more and get Cedrat Boise. And still, that is my main recommendation, even though it's more than double. Even at the cheapest, you'll find this. The cheapest I ever see at $65. You can get this for $30. This is less than half the price of this. I still think you should save the money and get this. It is better. It does smell a little bit better quality. It's one of my favorite fragrances ever. But with that caveat, if you are on that strict of a budget, you just don't have the money to spare, $70 or whatever, to buy that, and you'd like to get a pretty similar experience, a very similar experience for $30 or less, this is actually a very good option. And with that, I think it's a 7.5 out of 10. It's a very good fragrance. It's not as good as what it's cloning. It's not the exact same experience, but again, it's a very close experience for less than half the price, the cheapest price that I've seen this online. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Paris Corner's Emir Cedrat Essence. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this, and what do you think about it? It's a great choice if you're on that $30 or less budget, and maybe you've smelled this before. This has always had your intrigue. You don't spend more than $30 or $40 on fragrances. You just won't do it. And some people do that. And I was like that for a long time at one point. So I totally understand where you're coming from. So if you don't want to save the extra money to get this one, honestly, you'll be just fine with this one because it's a very similar experience. While not an identical experience, it's great for $30. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on Emir Cedrat Essence and you give it a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.